Corvus Unum, out of many one. You have Baal, Satan, Lucifer, Thor, Helios. It's like he has many names, but it is one person. Like that's part of it. He's a deceiver. He deceives people, even about who he is, to everyone. I mean, he's had his hand in the way things are going for quite some time now. I mean, basically all the people in positions of power since our history have been the descendants of Cain, and they are not God's people. They are directly against them.
2 weeks ago, I interviewed a man that played a big part in breaking the Pizzagate story. Are you familiar with that as of yet?
Yeah, I kind of looked into it, and then I seen some stuff saying that it was just something that was easily, debunked to try and discredit the fact that, occult secret societies do have these underground rings of not just that, but, they also sacrifice people ritualistically pretty regularly. And, there's some people, like there's women, their only job is to breed, to make kids to sacrifice. I mean, it's pretty sick.
Well, that's what he was saying. When you think about it, what is the most? That's one of the most evil things you can do is take a child's life. I mean, that's innocence. You're sacrificing innocence. At least that's what he was saying. And he was saying out there was a lot of disinformation surrounding Pizzagate as well. But any of our listeners can go back and listen to that podcast and that interview, yourself included.
Yeah, I might do that in a little bit, actually. Pizzagate's one of the things, like, there's been so much stuff like the Mandela effect and all this stuff, and there's just so much. And then this recent shooting now, it's like, they originally said it was from a different airport and that they were coming in from, and then the airport is tweeting that the news is basically going off of false information, and that no one from the airport had a checked firearm, or no one by that name even used the airline. And then they tried to say it was a different airline, once they were already getting caught. And it's just, once I heard about it, I'm just like, okay, here we go.
Bye more of your rights.
Crime in an airport, 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, no good tragedy can go wasted.
But about the Pizzagate, like I just kind of, I haven't really looked into it, honestly. I mean, I've heard some things, but I have not taken the time to unbiasedly look at all the information out there.
And like I said, our show is podcasted, so people can go back and listen at any time, and that's on Podomatic. Quick search for Tinfoil Veterans will pull it up, and I believe I've got that one titled Pizzagate. I can't remember the exact date of it. It was December.
I'll find it.
Rock on. Well, where are these people in power? Is this a world kind of thing, or tell me more about this?
Oh, absolutely. It's entire world domination. There's, like a couple of years ago, every country had a Rothschilds International Bank except for like a few, and we basically. It was one of the first things that happened when we went into Iraq, and the thing with Gaddafi is he was trying to unite Africa, and he's like basically trying to have a United States of Africa with a gold-backed currency, and so that's when our government and other governments intervened and basically created an uprising using social media and overthrew him. Because they're threatening the stranglehold that they have on everything. I mean, it's always been controlled oppositions on all sides of every war, and it's always been the same people behind the scenes benefiting from all of it.
I believe the Rothschilds are very well known, and some people in the know and with a little bit of power often give us little hints. The Simpsons, Mr. Burns, his character is based off of. You can pull up a caricature. Is based off
Absolutely.
The Rothschilds.
It is him.
But yes, they finance both sides of the war. That is one that I truly, definitely believe myself. There is a power structure there, and people don't like to give up power once they have it, and the easiest way to control people is with money, which is amazing.
It's like,
not even their money. They take our money and loan it back to us.
They create money out of nothing and control us with it.
They create it out of the belief. As long as we believe there's value to it, it has power.
It's a promissory note.
That's right.
It's a promise of debt.
And who likes debt? I know I sure as hell don't.
How can you ever expect to not have debt whenever you're borrowing to begin with at interest? All you're going to do is continue to create inflation until people realize that money doesn't exist.
Yeah. You and I are both also veterans of the Ron Paul Revolution, as I like to say. We lost that war, but it was a good fight.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Why don't you touch a little bit on how the Catholic Church is involved in this? That was a very interesting conversation we've had before.
Okay, it's basically, Catholicism, and they had a major hand in the presentation of the heliocentric model. I mean, Copernicus was a Jesuit priest. Newton was a Freemason, but Copernicus was, he came up with the heliocentric model, but it didn't actually go through until after his death. Like, I don't understand what was it. Like, he had second thoughts or whatever. He's like, yeah, you can release this when I'm dead, so then I can't be held accountable. Or it sounded like a guilty conscience move, but that's my personal opinion. And also, when they mistranslated the Hebrew Bible, the King James Version Bible is 99% accurate, but they've mistranslated about 1%, and they've changed some pretty crazy things. Like, the Sabbath originally was Saturday or Friday evening and Saturday, and now they've changed it to Sunday, which is in alignment with Catholicism, which has Luciferian ties. And I'm not saying all Catholics are Luciferian. I'm saying at the very high echelons of it, they are. It's like the lower people don't know. I'm not saying Catholics are bad people. I'm just saying that, all of religion has been sabotaged in some way to continue to promote their agenda.
Yes, and that's undebatable that the true Sabbath is on Sunday. I actually know find this very fascinating. I know some Seventh-day Baptist, believe it or not. Like the Adventists, they're Baptists, but they celebrate their Sunday on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the things. It's like one of the commandments, keep the Sabbath holy. So what do? They change the day so that people are unknowingly in defiance of that commandment.
Yeah.
Rob Skiba has a really good video. Did Satan sabotage the Sabbatoon? Is what it's called. And he basically takes two computer programs in front, like in a split thing, and it translates Hebrew to English. And he basically goes through and shows parts of what have been mistranslated in the Bible.
There's a lot to that. I'm sitting here at my living room table, and down there I've got a concordance underneath it. I'm not a real religious man, but I like to think that I'm relatively self-educated. But anyway, yeah, when you break that stuff down, you've got to go back into, depending on when the verse was written, break it down into either Aramaic or the Hebrew or the Greek.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it spanned over centuries, the writing of that sacred book. Well, tell us more about the Helios model or whatever, because most of our listeners have probably never heard this, never Google searched it, and the awakening. You guys have quite the movement out there right now. Who broke all this and saw the truth, or is this something where people, I guess theoretically, the Catholic Church was executing people 300 or 400 years ago on this, so I guess maybe people originally believed the Earth was flat. So, but the recent rebirth of this movement, where does it come from?
Well, I don't think it actually ever fully died. I mean, there's people that have always said it and did experiments to prove it, but it just never got any attention. But now, now that we've progressed to where they can't suppress information, and information is more readily available, and we can compile all our sources, it's hard to stop it. I mean, anyone with a rational mind can look at something and, look at two things and be like, okay, this makes sense, and this obviously doesn't. I mean, the hard part is to check, to knowing to check to begin with, because you just take for granted that everything that you've been taught is true. And once you start to question and start to look and dissect things, you realize we've been had.
Yeah, that's right. I believe look around, question everything. Absolutely everything. Hey, man, I think I'm going to take a little commercial break and grab myself some coffee and regain my thoughts. If you'd like to do the same, like I said, I'm going to, well, if I can find them here. We got brand new commercials just sent to me. Boy, I got a lot of windows here, buddy. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play our commercials. So I'll be right back.
This is Bulldog, 22-year retired Army combat veteran and proud owner of Threatcon 5 clothing. Like you, I get tired of seeing organizations that claim that collected donations were helping veterans, but truly only using pennies on the dollar. So I wondered, what could I do to make a difference? We started Threatcon 5 clothing with a mission of designing clothing that brings awareness to the threats affecting the veteran community. We also provide assistance to vets in need, as well as making donations to organizations that are truly giving back. Join us and many others that wear our logo, knowing the money spent on our items goes to make a real change in a veteran's life. Join in the fight. Wear the grenade. This is Bulldog, 22-year retired Army combat veteran and proud owner of Threatcon 5 clothing. Like many of you, I get tired of seeing organizations that claim that collected donations were helping veterans, but truly only using pennies on the dollar. So I wondered, what could I do to make a difference? We started Threatcon 5 clothing with a mission of designing clothing that brings awareness to the threats affecting the veteran community. We also provide assistance to vets in need, as well as making donations to organizations that are truly giving back. Join us and many others that wear our logo, knowing the money spent on our items goes to make a real change in a veteran's life. Join in the fight. Wear the grenade.
This flag isn't backwards. It's assaulting forward. Born was a nation of independence, who made the choice to make their lives and their families' lives better. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We carry on that tradition today. Fight on, break through, never quit. This flag isn't backwards, it's assaulting forward. We are grunt style, and this will defend.
You're listening to Veteran Radio Syndicate, brought to you by Alpha Outpost. Want the gift that keeps on giving every month that you actually want? Each month, you'll be receiving a box filled with gear that a true American patriot would want. Your first month, you'll be getting the everyday carry. It comes with a badass bag to hold all your gear. So head over to alphaoutpost.com today and grab America by the box.
Comes a time in a man's life that laughter becomes the best medicine. Visit the5b.com today and embrace the Bravo. Titty sprinkles.
Hey everyone, John Burke here. More and more these days we're seeing social justice warriors demand that we conform to their weak-minded way of thinking. Well, if you're like me, I get sick and tired of it. So at ITAgear.com, we are now running clothing that is so damn offensive, it'll send the little snowflakes running for their safe spaces and into the arms of their gender studies professors. So if you like practicing your First Amendment right by wearing offensive clothing, then ITA Gear is just what you're looking for. Let them burn flags, we can wear shirts that trigger them. Once again, that's ITAgear.com, veteran-owned and operated.
You're listening to Veteran Radio Syndicate on VetRS.com. The best in online radio.
And we're back. You got Compound Commander here on Tinfoil Vet. I'm interviewing our good friend of the show and friend of mine, Matt here. He's telling